3, 2, 1, go. What's up guys, I wanted to do a really quick tutorial on how to make your 3D models really stand out, especially if you're making any sort of characters, or humans, cartoon humans, things like that. You'll notice that they do this in most 3D animated and even 2D stuff. Once you know about this and you notice it, you'll start noticing it all over, and it keeps your characters looking alive and warm. So the first thing we want to do is add red to the nose, the ears, maybe a little bit around the face. There's some other colors we can add. We can add a little bit of blue in the eye sockets and maybe like below the lips. And you can add a little bit of orange to the median between like the nose, like the bridge of the nose and things like that. You can kind of get into it. I think it might be called color banding, so you can check that out if you want to dig further. But I'm just going to go ahead and do this for this character because I just finished him up. So let me stop talking. So first I'm going to use paint, and I want to make sure that I'm on his skin. And I'll add a new layer. And this one I'm just going to call reddish. So here's reddish. I'm also going to add a layer for upper lip, and I'll add a layer lower lip. Layers are really fantastic because you can slowly build up what you need. I'm gonna move reddish to the top because I want that to be over everything. So let's take, first what I like to do is go to the paint and then take the eyedropper and get the skin tone, whatever skin tone you've picked. That way the roughness and the glossiness is the same as the skin tone. So then I just go to red. I usually don't do all the way red. I don't know, maybe I should. I usually go a little bit less than all the way red. He looks kind of funny being red. So now I'm on with my paintbrush and make sure that I'm on my reddish layer. So I can go ahead and, oh, and one thing to note, I also, with this layer, with all of my things, I decimated. So that will make it very easy. That'll make it much easier to blend. You definitely want to decimate and bring your numbers down, because if your numbers are too high, then it's going to be hard to blend it all. Okay, so let's get back to the reddish layer. Paint tool. I'm going to lower this to like maybe 40% or so. Okay. So now we're just going to go over the nose. Oh, it's kind of big. I'm going to go a little bit more red. It's still a bit big. Okay, so now we're just going to go over the nose area, the cheeks, for sure, the ears. It's really bright back there, but that's okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to lower it down some and then just kind of, I'm going to touch like the lips a little bit. And kind of just touch more of the face with it. And maybe even the neck too. Okay, looks pretty good. I'll touch a little bit more of the lips. So now I'm going to take smooth color. And smooth color is basically just the smooth brush, but with 0 intensity. So that's all I'm using. But you can clone it. You can clone it, turn the intensity down, and then save it, and you have a smooth color tool. So now we just want to blend this in. So you blend that in nice and good. And that's the key with decimation. It's easier to blend. You don't want like a very high, like 400K mesh, because you won't be able to blend it. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. And I talked about the other things, so let's add that as well. Let's do some blue. Oh, actually, I don't know why I just changed the roughness. I didn't mean to do that, actually. So I'm gonna, I think it's fine. Okay, so I'll just bring it up a little bit. So now we want to use our paintbrush again. What am I doing? Let's get the skin tone. Let's go back to blue. Okay. So now we're still on our reddish layer. We could add a new layer if you want. Well, let's add a new layer and just call it blue. That way we can sort of just test it out. We'll put it below, we'll put it above reddish for now. So now with the blue, let's do a little bit, paint tool. Let's do a little bit under the eyes. And maybe down here. Doesn't really need that much, just a touch. Okay, let's take some orange. So let's take some orange and put a little bit here. So above that red that we did for the eyes, let's take some yellow. And let's add a little bit to the forehead. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now you might be thinking that it looks kind of crazy because you can clearly see, you can clearly see these colors in there, but that's okay. So now the next thing we want to do is smooth those out. So I'm going to use smooth color and just smooth out what we just did. I think we did a little bit down here with the blue, here with the orange. So we smooth all that out. And I think it looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and join them. So now we just have reddish, which is all that color. But now you can turn this down. So you can bring it up just a little bit. See, this is without, and then that's with. So that looks much better. Let me turn it up a pinch more. So something like this. I think that looks great. So once again, here is with. I should do a screenshot of both. That might be the best way to do it. So yeah, I'll do that at the end. I'll do a screenshot of both. It actually looks good with like pretty heavy, to be honest with you. I kind of like it with more rather than less. But I have to show some control. Let's add a little more red. I feel like he just needs a little bit more red on his nose. Oh, it's a little too much. Just a little more red on the nose. And I'll just take smooth color. Just kind of smooth that out a little bit. There we go. I think that looks a little bit more natural. So the next thing I want to do, so that's basically it. That's the end of the tutorial. But I do want to show you how I do lips. So for the lips, I usually take the skin tone and then I bring it lower. So I'm just bringing that down. And then I take my paintbrush and I'll go to upper lip. We'll put upper lip on top of lower lip because that just makes sense. And now I'm just going to color in this upper lip. Okay, so now that upper lip is colored in, and if you find that it's not, you want it a little darker, you can make it a little darker. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And I'll just use my little smooth just to kind of smooth around the edge if you need it. And now for the bottom lip, I'll use like more of a pink color. So I want to use more of a natural reddish pink versus like this like magenta-ish color. That usually looks very unnatural. So I go to red and then I just go lighter. So we'll do that. We'll make sure that we're on low lip. Paint tool would help. And we can put it all the way up because we can always lower the opacity of the layer. So let's turn it all the way up and then we can work backwards if we need. Another advantage of doing it this way is you can clearly see it. All right, so let's do some smooth. Although that does blend out, that does blend it over the lips. So let's just go back to paint and let's just erase around the edge. Because it's a little too, you don't want it to be, you don't want it really looking like smeared lipstick. I want to try to keep it as natural as possible. I know it doesn't look, I mean, it actually doesn't look too bad, to be honest with you. But I might just take it down a little bit. You know, maybe something like this. And then a neat little trick is I'll take the roughness down. And I'll just, totally messed that up. Low lip, paint. We'll take the color that we just put on the lips. We'll make it glossy. And then, oh, that's what I did. I erased. I was wondering why I did that. I was on erase. So then I'm just going to add a little bit of that. That might be too aggressive. And I'll take it off symmetry. You don't really want, it doesn't really need to be symmetrical. But see what that does? It kind of gives it a more realistic lip, while also, excuse me, while also separating it. You know, it separates that skin from the other skin. You can do the same thing up here. If you take this color and then you bring the roughness down, just remember to go back up to upper lip. And you can add a little bit here. If you want to give it like a little bit of shine, you know, and it really pulls it out from the rest of the skin with that glisten. It really gives it like a realistic feel. And then also there's like little details like here with the crease tool. I might take the color by the nose and then bring it down really dark and then turn the matteness up. And then I'll go to, let's see, where is this color? This color's on the base. So I think I'll just do it on the base. Hopefully it'll work. All right. Might have to do it on reddish. Make it even darker. Go with my crease again. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult because we're using, let's see if I can paint it in. Because we're using subsurface, which I love. I do love subsurface scatter, but it can keep you from doing other little details, like making that darker. I'll try layer. See if that works. Oh, have I been on sub for crease? No, I wasn't. So let's try layer, sub, and let's bring this color back. And let's see if that does anything. Really doesn't do anything to the color. Oh, let's add a new layer. Let's try crease again. The reddish layer, I forgot that it was, you know, I darkened it. So that could be a reason. That actually looks pretty good. Let's try layer with symmetry. Bring it even darker. Just get that darkness in there, and then I'll use smooth and just kind of smooth that out. It just gets it a little bit, I just wanted it a little bit darker in there with the nose. But anyway, I think he looks pretty good. I think I'm calling it quits with this guy. I changed a little bit. I altered the shirt a little bit. I'm not going to do the basketball because that's a whole like can of worms, and that's going to be difficult. But if I was going to do it, I'd first probably try to put some texture on it. It's 15 minutes. Okay, so for the basketball, what would I do? Let me save this. I would brush tool. Then I would find my texture down here. Maybe this is sort of basketball-y. So is that actually. Let's try this one. So I bring the size up, bring this down, and let's just see what happens. I'll make a new layer. And let's see what happens here. Oh, you know, I have to change the I have to give it some more oomph. So I subdivide it once. I'll voxel remesh it quite high, maybe at like 458. Probably should have hit undo first. Now let's try it. It's a little bit better. It's still a little weird. Let's try this. That's a little bit better. It's not quite like a basketball texture. I feel like I'd have to just download a basketball texture. I thought I had like a reptile skin. Oh, that was the reptile skin. See, it kind of makes it like one of those kickballs. I mean, it's a little bit better. At least there's some texture on it. Looks like a big orange. But I guess if you're making a basketball, it's not the worst for it to look like a big orange. It could look worse. So you would add texture, something like that, but I'd need like a better texture, clearly. And then I would just take clay. I'd probably do it like this lazy way. I would take clay with black. I'd add a new layer. And then somehow I don't think the symmetry works really on here, because that would be quite helpful. If you could find the right symmetry. No, it's not working. So anyway, I'll have to do it like the bootleg way. And you'd have to like try to figure out where the first point is. And then like, I think it's just like, you know, something like that. I feel like a basketball just kind of goes just like this, right? I don't even know. I don't think I'm ever going to show the back side of this guy, so this basketball does not have to be great. So, something like that. It's better than nothing. All right, I think that's it for this guy. Not going to spend too much time on him. The only other thing I would do is I might add some red to his fingers, elbows. Good skin tone, red, paint. So you want to add some red to like the fingers, the elbows. The knees. Yeah, so I think that's pretty good. And you can just smooth it out. Smooth it all out, nice and smooth. Cool. And then you just you can adjust the layer. All right, keep drawing, keep sculpting. I will see you all in the next video.